Sometimes people look down on you quietly, not openly enough to confront, not directly enough to name, just subtle enough to make you question yourself instead. I took this picture in Portugal, and this is part of one of my travel photography exhibitions called Portugal 41. And what struck me wasn't the architecture or even the pigeon standing at the edge of the window. It was the perspective, the feeling of being observed from above. Judged from a distance by people who never carried the full weight of your life. Over time, I think many of us begin sensing these quiet hierarchies. We experience the dismissive jokes, the subtle comments, the unsolicited advice wrapped in super, like, powerful, above you kind of feeling. And these moments seem small on their own, but one day you realize they formed a pattern. And what hurts most is not criticism from strangers, it's the grief of realizing that people close to you may never fully respect the reality that you survived to become. And I can talk about this because I've spent much of my life outside traditional expectations, traveling, creating, adapting, rebuilding, and finding meaning in those unconventional places. And I think people sometimes mistake a non-linear life for an unserious one. But surviving differently doesn't mean surviving less. Not everyone will understand your path. Some people measure worth through status, structure, predictability, or external validation. And then others measure life by freedom, meaning, resilience, creativity, and aliveness. And we sure need that these days. And those worlds do not always recognize each other, right? But I'm learning that something now that took me a long time to learn and to understand. You do not have to shrink yourself to fit inside someone else's limited understanding of value. And sometimes healing begins the moment you stop asking people standing above you to finally see you clearly.